Let's begin. Today is August 31st, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle uses the following 5 criteria cards. Criteria card 8, 14, 16, 19, and 21. And the puzzle uses the purple verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 5 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, and finally criteria card E. So criteria card A will look at the 3-digit solution and will let us know how many of those digits are 1. Are there no ones? Is there a single one? Perhaps 2? Maybe all 3 are 1. Criteria card B will look at our 3 digits, triangle, square, and circle, and will let us know which one is the absolute smallest. Should triangle be the smallest? Should square be the smallest? Or should circle be the smallest? Criteria card C will look at our 3-digit solution and will let us know a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. Are there more even than odds, or are there less even than odds? Criteria card D will look at our first 2 digits, triangle and square, add them together, and compare that sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should it be equal to 6? Or should the sum be greater than 6? And finally, criteria card E will look at the 3-digit solution and will let us know a little bit about its structure, so to speak. Specifically, it can tell us whether there's a pair of digits, as in the example 131, or alternatively, there are no pairs, but there are 2 different scenarios. One where all the digits are distinct, as in the example 134, or it could be that all digits are the same, as in the example 222. And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by all the 5 criteria cards we just discussed. And the first, we're going to start off with an initial proposal of 314. So the first thing I want to find out is a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. So let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Okay, so the Turing Machine approves of my proposal. Notice that I do have 2 odds to a single even. So it's basically letting me know that there are less even than odds. So let's go ahead and test, or write that up in our notes for section C. And that again is that there are less even than odds. And because we know that there are less even than odds, there are 2 scenarios. One where we have at least 2 odds, or exactly 2 odds, and an even. Or it could be that all 3 are odd and there are no evens. So the next thing I'd like to test is, I want to see if there's a pair or not. So let's go ahead and test criteria card E. Okay, so again, it does approve of my proposal. Notice that 314, they're all distinct digits. So it falls under the no pairs scenario. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section E. And that is that the solution has no pairs. Okay, and that also has, again, 2 possibilities. Either they are all distinct, or it could be a triple number, meaning a single digit repeated 3 times. However, if you take a look at criteria card B, since there is an absolute smallest, that means it can't be a triple number, right? If they're all the same, then no one can be smaller than the other 2. So yes, we have narrowed it down to be all unique digits. And so let's go ahead and add an additional note here, and we'll say that there are no repetitions. Let's say the solution has no pairs, and we'll just say and no repetitions. Okay, and so that means that basically they're all unique. So it still could be that they're all odd, right? 1, 3, 5 in some order. Let's see. Or it could be that we do have an even, and then, of course, 2 odds. So it would be interesting. Criteria card A, obviously there can't be 3 ones, there can't even be 2 ones. So either there is a 1 or there isn't. Now, if it's the case, I do have a 1 in my proposal, but if we were to get an X by testing criteria card A, we would know that since there is no 1, that means that 2 unique odds would be 3 and 5, and then there would be an even. And if there is a 1, does that mean that all of them? Now, it doesn't mean that we could still have a situation where we'd have 2 odds, 1 and another odd, but that seems unlikely. So let's go ahead and test criteria card A to see if there is a 1 or not. Okay, as I almost suspected, I do have a 1 in my proposal, but the Turing Machine does not approve that. We've already discussed how it can be 2 or even 3, and even with a 1 in there, it disagrees. So in fact, yes, there is no 1 digit. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes. The solution has no single 1 digit, which means that it does have a 3, a 5, and an even. Okay, now I don't know the order or which one, but we do know that there has to be a 3 and a 5 since we do have a majority of odds. If there's no 1, then you need to have the 3 and the 5. And of course, that third digit must then be an even. Okay, well that does it for this round. We did complete our 3 Turing tests. We're now moving into the phase where we'll be discussing how to construct a good second round proposal. So notice we did not test criteria card B, letting us know which is the absolute smallest, and also we did not test criteria card D, letting us know a little bit about the sum of triangle and square. Now I did forget to, actually I should have crossed out all of the 1s since we know that there is no 1 in our solution. There are going to be 3s and 5s, and of course either a 2 or a 4. And so at this point, the smallest might just fall to a number 2, possibly. I don't know if there's a way to definitively state that right now, but if not, the smallest is either a 2 or a 3. It can't be a 4 or 5, obviously, since we don't have any repeats. So let's see. So we do have a smallest, besides criteria card B, there's no other mention of circle directly, unlike criteria card D that does talk about triangle and square. And let's see what else. So it really comes down to criteria card B and D to basically give us a solution. So what can we say about I don't think triangle and square can be 6 because there are no repeats, so you can't have 3, 3, and you only have 1 even, so you can't have 2, 4, and the 5s no longer have a 1 to add up to 6. So we know it's not equal to 6. It's either going to be less than or greater than. And let's see, less than, it would be interesting if the sum were less than, because then that would, I think that would reduce it just to 2 and 3, and that would force circle to be 5. And then the smallest could be determined by B. So it's either going to be 2 or 3. That's the best, because I think there are just way too many other possibilities. Because once you add 2, well, we know it can't be 2, 4, that's 6. It could be 2, 7, or 2, 5, that's greater than. But so is 3, 4, 3, 5, and even 4, 5. So we have too many possibilities where the sum is greater than. And so it does sound plausible that it's going to be 2 and 3 for triangle square, and then we're forcing the circle to be 5. So that said, let's go ahead and choose 2, 3, 5 as our second round proposal. Okay, so let's, and I think there's no way to deduce the ordering. And if we test the smallest, can we deduce that the sum should be less than 6? We'll know it's the smallest, and like we said earlier, it has to be either a 2 or 3. That's for sure. Let's go ahead and just test the sum. And that's criteria card D. Okay, so yes, it's true that triangle plus square must be less than 6. So let's type that up in section D. And that again is that triangle plus square is less than 6. And I think what that tells us is that triangle and square cannot be 5s, because 5 plus 2 is already greater. And as stated, I don't think you can have a 4 either, because 4 plus 2 is a 6, and we are looking for something that's less than. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's basically limited to 2 and 3, and yeah, those are your only options. There are no duplicates, so it's either 2, 3, 3, 2, and again, that forces circle to be the other odd. So can't have a 2, can't have a 3, because that would be a repeat. We've already established that there's already a 2 in our even, so it can be 4. So yeah, so it forces circle to be 5. And so let's go ahead and test criteria card B. And okay, so we got that wrong. And if you notice in the proposal, I chose triangle 2, and that's the smallest among triangle, square, and circle. So that would mean that square has to be the smallest. So let's go, and so we're basically deducing that. So let's go ahead and type that up in section B, and that again is that square, we'll say, is the smallest. Okay, and so basically among 2 and 3, that would mean that square would have to be 2. It's the smallest. And so that would then force triangle to be 3. And so it looks like our solution is 3, 2, 5. So let's go ahead and type that up. Okay, so let's quickly verify. So criteria card A, the solution has no single one digit. Actually, it has no one digit. Actually, so yeah, let me, I guess, update that. It has no digit. The way I kind of wrote it implies that there could be a double or a triple, and that's not the case. So it should be that the solution has no one digit, period. It does have a 3, a 5, and an even, sure. Square is the smallest. There are more odds than evens, yes. The sum of the first two is less than 6, that's correct. And there are no pairs or repetitions. Yeah, so it looks good, but let's verify. So 3, 2, 5. All right, 3, 2, 5 is correct. Okay, how do we do versus a Turing machine? Well, let's take a look. So we did answer, or we did make 5 questions out of our 5 criteria cards, so that's a good indication. In both rounds, it was the first criteria card that was incorrect. So we did do ACE in the first round, and then the other 2 criteria cards in the second round. So let's type that up. So A was wrong, C was good, and E was also correct, but it was B that was incorrect, and it was D that was correct. So, okay, fantastic. So we beat the Turing machine by 1 question. So, again, I probably could have deduced perhaps criteria card D, the sum, because there were probably too many cases where it was equal or greater than 6, and that's why I chose that proposal. But obviously, criteria card B was really a 50-50. Wasn't too sure which one was which. But overall, it was a good puzzle. What do you think? Add your thoughts to the comments. Did you notice anything about this particular video that you'd like to share? Give it a thumbs up so that more people can find this channel. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on any future videos. Well, until next time, have a great one.